The stars above Earth looked peaceful that night. The humans below never knew someone was watching them. High above the clouds, in the cold silence of space, a small alien scout ship drifted like a shadow. Its surface was black as night, hiding it from human eyes. Inside, the alien crew whispered to each other in their strange language, afraid to speak too loudly, as if the planet itself could hear them. Their captain, a tall alien with pale silver skin and sharp glowing eyes, sat in the command chair. His name was Commander Varix. He had explored dozens of worlds before. He had seen creatures with claws that could cut metal, beasts that lived in lava, even empires with fleets the size of moons. But humans? They were supposed to be simple. A young species. Limited technology. A planet barely reaching the stars. That was what the Galactic Council believed. But tonight, as the scout ship's scanners swept across Earth, something strange appeared on the screens. "Commander," one officer said, his voice trembling. "I am reading unusual energy signals coming from beneath the surface of this planet." Varix turned his cold eyes to the display. Strange glowing shapes appeared beneath the deserts, deep in the oceans, hidden under mountains. Massive structures, perfectly shaped, as if built for war. "What are they?" the commander asked softly. The officer shook his head. I do not know, sir. But they are not cities. They look like weapons." The crew exchanged nervous glances. Weapons? That could not be right. Humans had small armies, yes. Some missiles. Some fighter planes. But nothing that could scare the Council's mighty fleets. At least, that was what they thought. Varix leaned closer to the screen. One massive shape rested deep under the Pacific Ocean. Another was hidden in the Sahara Desert. There were hundreds, maybe thousands of them across the planet. "Magnify," the commander ordered. The screen zoomed in. The aliens stared in silence. It was huge. A single weapon bigger than their entire scout ship. Sleek black metal, sharp edges, launch systems ready. And there was not just one. Across the planet, more weapons, missiles the size of towers, guns that could fire into space, systems locked onto the sky itself, as if waiting for an enemy above the stars. The crew felt cold fear crawl over their skin. "Sir," whispered the officer again, his voice shaking now. "If these are weapons, why have the humans never used them?" Varix did not answer. He was thinking the same thing. Humans had fought wars before. The Council's records showed them destroying each other in great battles long ago. Explosions that burned cities. Fire that reached the skies. Yet, now they were quiet, peaceful. Why build weapons of this size? And then hide them? Another officer broke the silence. "Commander, perhaps these are only old machines. Maybe they cannot even fire, but deep inside, no one believed that. Because as the ship continued scanning, they found something else. A strange energy signature, unlike anything in the Council's databases. Not nuclear, not plasma, not ion cannons like the Council used. Something far stronger. Varix felt his throat tighten. If humans had this technology, why were they still quiet? Why had they not expanded into space like other empires? It made no sense, unless they did not want to. A cold thought entered the commander's mind. What if the humans were not weak, but waiting? Waiting for someone foolish enough to attack them first. The crew worked in silence, afraid to speak. Every new image showed more terrifying machines, submarines carrying weapons large enough to sink continents, aircraft that could launch fire across the skies, even strange black ships hidden under ice caps, waiting like predators. The humans had been building these for decades, maybe centuries. One officer whispered, "Commander, what should we report to the Council?" Varix stared at the planet below. Blue oceans, green lands, cities full of lights. A world that looked harmless beautiful even, but hiding monsters in its depths. Report only the facts, he said finally. Tell them humans have weapons. Many weapons. And we do not yet understand their full power. He paused, his voice lowering. And tell them. I fear we may have underestimated this species. The crew nodded silently. No one wanted to stay longer than necessary, but as they prepared to leave orbit, one last signal appeared on their scanners. A human satellite had turned and locked onto them. The alien crew froze. It was impossible. No one had detected them before. No empire had sensors strong enough to find their stealth ship, but the humans had found them. The satellite's weapons powered up for just 1 second, then went dark again, like a warning, like a whisper saying, "We see you." Commander Varix felt his heart pound in his chest. This was no primitive species. And for the first time in his career, he felt afraid. The alien scout ship drifted away from Earth's orbit, silent and tense. The crew thought the danger was over, but Commander Varix wasn't ready to leave. Something about this planet bothered him. The weapons hidden on Earth were not only powerful, they were silent. That was worse than any open threat. Back on the ship, a young alien officer was digging through intercepted human signals, radio waves, data transmissions, even old archives stored on satellites. Most of it was noise, music, news, human chatter. But then, buried deep inside old military records, he found something that made his eyes widen. "Commander," he called out, his voice shaking. "You should see this." Varix turned slowly. The officer brought up a series of grainy videos, human footage from decades ago. Explosions, cities burning, skies black with smoke, and then a blinding flash. The room went silent. The aliens had seen many wars in the galaxy. Empires fought with fleets, with armies, with plasma cannons and laser storms. But this was different. Humans had dropped fire from the sky on themselves. Entire cities erased in seconds. Millions gone. The footage showed people screaming, running, the world shaking apart. And yet, somehow, the humans survived, rebuilt, advanced. No empire in the Galactic Council had ever used such weapons on their own planets. Too dangerous. Too destructive. Even at war, there were limits. But humans? It was like watching a species that did not fear the end of the world. Varix felt cold sweat on his neck. What are these weapons called?" he asked quietly. The officer checked the human words. "Nuclear bombs," he said slowly. "They used them on themselves." A long time ago, the aliens exchanged horrified glances. The humans had invented planet-killing weapons before they even reached space. And they didn't stop there. The next file showed missiles launched from submarines deep in the oceans. Then strange black planes dropping fire across the skies. Then giant metal machines crawling over battlefields like angry gods. One officer whispered, "Sir, these are only the old weapons. The ones they used before they even left their own atmosphere. What do they have now?" That was the question burning in everyone's mind. The more they watched, the less sense it made. Humans had the power to destroy their world, but didn't. They built bigger weapons. Then went quiet. It was as if they had learned something no one else understood. The files showed the Cold War era. Humans building more bombs than the world could hold, each bomb stronger than the last. Enough firepower to turn the entire planet into dust. And then, nothing. No global wars. No mass destruction. Just silence. It was like staring at a sleeping predator, claws hidden, waiting. "Commander," another officer said slowly, "why do they stop? Why build all this power, then never use it?" Varix didn't answer. He was watching one last piece of footage. A human leader, standing before the world, saying words translated into alien language. "We build these weapons so no one will dare to use them. We seek peace, but we are ready for war." The alien commander's throat went dry. This wasn't weakness. This was control. The humans built weapons to end wars before they even started. No wonder the Council had no record of them attacking other planets. The humans didn't fight because they didn't need to. They were the storm waiting behind the clouds. Varix finally spoke, his voice low. Send this to the Council. Tell them humans are not what they seem. The officers nodded silently, but deep inside, everyone felt it, the same cold fear growing stronger. If these were the old weapons, what were the new ones like? And why did the humans stay so quiet? As if waiting for someone to make the first mistake. The alien scout ship stayed in orbit longer than planned. Commander Varix wanted answers. The old war footage had shaken the crew, but one question burned inside every alien heart. What can the humans do now? The Council had always believed Earth was primitive, a planet too busy fighting itself to be a threat to anyone else. But the strange weapons buried under oceans and deserts told a different story. And then, one night the answer came. The humans didn't know the aliens were watching. Or maybe they did know. Because suddenly, without warning, deep in a desert far below, a massive metal object was lifted by a silent aircraft. It rose high into the sky, higher and higher, until it reached the edge of space. The aliens watched closely. No warhead. No explosives. Just a long, heavy rod of metal. And then the humans dropped it. The rod fell back to Earth like a spear thrown by the gods. The alien sensors went wild. The rod didn't explode. It didn't burn. It just fell, but when it hit the ground, the desert vanished. A giant shockwave ripped across the land. The Earth shook. Dust and fire rose like the end of the world. A crater miles wide open where there had been nothing but sand a moment before. The crew stared in silence. One weapon. No nuclear fire. No radiation. Just gravity. And destruction beyond imagination. The humans called it rods from God. Simple metal falling from orbit. With the power of 1,000 bombs, Varix felt his heart pounding. The weapon was so quiet, so clean, so final. It didn't just kill armies. It erased them. One officer whispered, "Sir, this is not war. This is judgment," another muttered, "and this is only a test." "Imagine if they used it on a city." Varix said nothing. He kept staring at the crater on the screen, because the humans weren't celebrating. They weren't cheering. They didn't even announce the test to their own people. It was like they wanted the world to forget, while keeping the galaxy guessing. One single strike. One simple weapon. And an entire army could be gone before it even looked up. For the first time, the crew understood something terrifying. The humans didn't make weapons for war. They made weapons to end war. Fast, quiet, without warning. And if the Council ever pushed them too far, the humans would not need fleets or invasions. They would only need one strike. Varix finally spoke, his voice low and heavy. This is why they stay silent. They don't fight because they don't have to. No one argued. No one moved, because deep inside, every alien on that ship felt it. The humans avoided war. Because for them, war would be too easy. The Galactic Council had finally made its decision. For weeks, the alien scout ship had sent reports. The hidden weapons, the old war files, the terrifying weapon test in the desert. Each report carried the same warning: humans were not what they seemed. But the Council didn't listen to them. Earth was just a single planet. The Council ruled hundreds of worlds, thousands of star systems. They had fleets bigger than moons, ships armed with weapons that could melt cities from orbit. One little planet can't scare us, the arrogant counselors said. So they sent a fleet, a peace fleet, they called it. But Varix knew better. Those warships were armed to the teeth. If the humans refused to bow to the Council, the fleet would make them kneel. Or burn. The alien commander watched from his scout ship as the massive Council fleet slipped into Earth's orbit, blocking out the stars. Dozens of ships. Cannons ready. Engines glowing like angry suns. The message was clear. Submit. Or be destroyed. But then, something happened no one expected. The humans responded. Not with words. Not with fear. With silence. And then slowly, from the oceans, they rose. Black shapes broke through the waves. Silent ships with strange angles. Glowing blue lines, and weapons the council couldn't even identify. From deserts, mountains, and frozen wastelands, more ships emerged, lifting into the sky like predators waking from sleep. They didn't speak. They didn't aim their weapons. They just appeared, surrounding the alien fleet without firing a single shot. Varix felt his heart pounding. The human ships were smaller than the council's battleships. But something about them felt wrong, deadly, like wolves staring at fat, slow cattle. Then the human message came through, a single voice, calm, cold, without emotion. Do not approach further. This is your only warning. The words sent a chill through every alien on the fleet, not because of what was said, but how it was said. No anger, no fear, no threats. Just quiet confidence. Like someone who already knows the ending and doesn't need to raise their voice. One alien admiral laughed nervously. Primitive threats. They wouldn't dare fire on the council, but Varix kept watching those black ships. Their weapons were hidden. Their engines made no sound. Their hulls didn't reflect any scans. It was as if the humans had built ships designed not to travel, but to kill. And kill fast. The fleet's commander ignored the warning. Send our own message, he ordered. Tell them they have 10 minutes to surrender. Or, he never finished, because in that moment, one human ship powered its weapons. Just one. The energy spike was so massive that council sensors screamed in alarm. One ship. One shot. And the entire alien fleet could be ash. The council fleet froze. Every alien officer stared at their screens. The humans weren't bluffing. The council fleet didn't fire. They couldn't. Every ship hung frozen above Earth, their weapons armed but useless. Because in front of them floated human warships, silent, black, waiting. The human ships didn't move, didn't blink, didn't show fear, but their message: do not approach further. This is your only warning. It echoed across every alien comm system like a knife against glass. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council felt something they had almost forgotten. Fear. Back in the council chambers on the distant capital world, panic spread like fire. Holograms showed the human ships rising from oceans, deserts, and ice caps like ghosts. Council members shouted over each other. They're primitives. One cried, they can't have this kind of power. Then explain those energy readings. Another snapped, pointing to the data. One human ship has more power than an entire fleet cruiser. Ambassadors from dozens of worlds argued, voices rising higher with each new report. Some demanded an immediate attack, claiming the humans were bluffing. Others begged for retreat, insisting the council should not risk provoking the species that built planet-cracking weapons before leaving their own solar system. And in the middle of it all, the footage kept playing, a single human ship locking weapons on the council fleet. And waiting. The human commander said nothing else. No threats. No countdown. Just waiting, like a predator letting its prey think about running before the kill. One ambassador slammed his fist on the table. Why are we afraid of them? We have the largest fleet in the galaxy. But another voice cut him off, trembling. Do you not see? They don't fire first. They warn first. That means they can afford to wait. Silence fell over the chamber. Because everyone understood. A weak enemy attacks quickly. A strong enemy attacks when it chooses. And the humans were choosing not to attack. Yet. Across the galaxy, news of the standoff spread like a storm. Billions watched the footage of black human ships surrounding the mighty council fleet. The public reaction was worse than the council expected. On some worlds, people demanded peace talks immediately. On others, whispers began. What if the humans are stronger than the council itself? For the first time in history, the council wasn't the one holding power over others. They were the ones being watched. While the council chambers drowned in arguments and fear, one alien spy slipped through the chaos. He was no soldier, no ambassador. He was something far worse. Trained by the council's shadow division, he could disappear in plain sight, steal data from locked systems, vanish without a trace. And now he had only one mission: find out the truth about human weapons. The spy infiltrated Earth in silence. No ships, no energy trails. He arrived in disguise, hidden among the thousands of satellites already orbiting the planet. Watching and waiting, for days he studied human military networks. Most were heavily encrypted, walls of code even the council's best hackers couldn't break. But then, he found one, a single hidden server, buried deep inside a military satellite far above Earth. Old, forgotten, but still alive. The spy slipped inside like a shadow through a cracked door. And what he found froze his blood. Blueprints, not of missiles, not of RAILGUNS, of weapons the council had no words for. Weapons that bent gravity like paper. Weapons that could collapse entire fleets into nothingness. Weapons that used stars themselves as fuel, and worse. Weapons that were never built. The spy scrolled through file after file, his alien hands shaking. The humans had designed weapons that could erase armies in seconds, then chose not to make them. Why? One file held the answer. It was a human document, translated roughly into alien language. It spoke of something called deterrence doctrina, philosophy of war that chilled the spy to his core. The best weapon is one you never have to use. The greatest victory is the war that never begins. Humans didn't build weapons to conquer. They built weapons so powerful that no one would dare start a fight in the first place. The spy's mind raced. This explained everything. The silence, the warnings, the terrifying restraint. Humans weren't hiding their strength because they feared war. They were hiding it because they didn't need war. And if someone forced their hand, the galaxy wouldn't survive. The answer. The spy copied as much as he could before alarms blared. Through the system, the humans had found him. A cold, calm voice spoke through the hacked connection. You've seen enough. Then the system shut down, wiping itself clean. The spy felt his heart hammering as he fled the satellite, because he realized something far more terrifying than the weapons themselves. The humans had let him see this, on purpose. As a warning. The alien spy returned to the Galactic Council pale and shaking. He had seen things no one else had. He had walked through the shadows of human weapons machines that could tear the stars themselves apart, and lived to tell the story. The council chamber was silent when he entered. Dozens of alien leaders, the most powerful beings in the galaxy, turned to him with anxious eyes. Well? One demanded. What did you find? Are the humans bluffing? The spy's voice trembled as he spoke. No, he said. They are not bluffing. He placed a small data chip on the center table. Holograms filled the air. Human blueprints, weapon tests, strange energy readings from Earth. Gasps filled the chamber. One weapon design showed a single strike splitting a planet in two. Another used gravity itself as a blade, slicing through ships like paper. And then there was the most terrifying file of all, a device marked only with a human phrase. Last resort, no details. No images. Just one line of text. Never use unless humanity faces extinction. The counselors stared in horror. One whispered, if this is true, we would never survive a war against them. Another slammed his fist on the table. But why keep such power secret? Why hide it? The spy swallowed hard. Because they don't want war. They want peace. But he looked around the room, his voice dropping to a whisper. If we push them, There will be no galaxy left to rule. Double quote silence. Cold, heavy, endless silence. Then the spy spoke the words that would change the council forever. Do not anger the humans. Do not threaten them. They carry the power of extinction. And they choose peace only because war would be too easy. The council chamber froze. No one argued. No one spoke of attacking Earth again, because deep inside, every leader understood the truth. The humans didn't conquer because they didn't need to. And if the galaxy ever made them fight, it would be the last mistake anyone ever made.